Last time we did what? We recovered the abandoned science from the orbit of the moon, and we landed a science mission on Minmus. And I got called away uh, early, so I wasn't able to return that mission from Minmus yet. So the first thing we'll do tonight from Minmus, and while we're doing that, let's decide what we're going to do next. So first thing we'll do is, and we use the grasshopper to go to Minmus, which I forgot at the time is not actually capable of returning to the surface of Kerbin. So we're going to have to send another hopper up like last time to grab all of the science and Bob and return them to the surface. And then maybe just for the fun of it, we'll deorbit the grasshopper and watch the SS Kelly Clarkson burn up in the atmosphere. That sounds like fun. All right, Bob, let's come home. And we want to burn that way. Very, very basic to bring him back. Again, the only reason I didn't do it last time was just I ran out of time. I had something come up and I had to go. And wow, we're already leaving the influence of Minmus, which is not what I wanted to do, because now we're flinging off into interstellar space, and I don't want to send Bob out there. I'm trying to bring him home, not strand him in between stars. So we'll just wait for him to reach Apoapsis. And at that point, we'll circularize, and then we'll plan a maneuver node to bring him back. And while he's doing his transfer, not his burn, but his actual transfer, we'll send him outside to collect up all that science. Because if I remember correctly, I just left it in the equipment. I didn't actually have him gather it up, which means that that's not good. That's what that means. I don't want to make a habit of leaving science on board the grasshoppers. The SS Kelly Clarkson must do better. Yes, it must do better. Okay. Now, might not. Yeah, I'm going to just leave the sphere of influence of Minmus, and then I will bring that periapsis down. But before I forget, let's grab that science. All right. And I'll restore it just because I don't know. There's no reason not to. He is a scientist, so may as well make him do his scientist stuff. Because anybody, even Jeb, can collect the data. We all know how Jeb is. All right, now we just hang out until we reach that maneuver node. Very short burn. Well, for everybody that's here, welcome to the stream. Just a brief recap. I'm finishing the mission I started last night. I wasn't able to finish it last night, so I'm doing it tonight. And I'm debating what I want to do after I finish this. See, I've got a contract to start a moon outpost, which I could do, but I don't really want to do that without first building a space station around Kerbin. It's just a convenient launch pad, if you will, a place to collect up all your vessels and have a bunch of extra fuel. It seems logical to me to build up the infrastructure in low Kerbin orbit before you build up the infrastructure on the surface of the moon. It seems logical to me. I don't understand skipping that step. Okay, we have now escaped from Minmus, and once we are outside of the Minmus sphere of influence, we'll lower that periapsis and come on down to Kerbin. And just speed up some time here. And we're out, so now we slow down. And this really doesn't take very much delta V. All right, I also don't want to come in. I don't want to dive too deep into the atmosphere from Minmus because we'll be going so fast it'll cause heat problems. It's better to graze the top of the atmosphere and use your engines to slow down at periapsis. At least I think so. All right, we'll time warp over there. Okay. Whew. If you time warp too fast, you'll blow right past it. Fortunately, that did not happen. And just wait until we enter the atmosphere, and then we'll. No, we don't want to deorbit, but we'll lower the apoapsis to about, I don't know, maybe 100,000, and then we'll bring the periapsis back up to about the same. I almost forgot. This is not a lander. That would have been very bad. So as you can see here, we are aerobraking. Pretty effectively, too. Yeah. I'm kind of nervous about burning. But let's go ahead and do it. Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. No, this is not Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. But if you want, I can just land my Kerbals in the middle of nowhere and have them run around in the trees. You can pretend. Be almost the same. No, this is more like Magic Star Traveler. Much higher quality. Superior entertainment. Can you hear the whale music? The atmosphere, because I forgot this is not, you know what, let's take it up to 120. Just the higher up it is, the easier it'll be to rendezvous with it. Bring it down to the periapsis, circularize, and then we'll send something up here after it. And eventually we're going to have to clean up this junk. Now, I could clean it up just by going into my map and hitting delete. Is that cheating? I mean, it's in the game. Or do I have to build a claw to come up here, grab, and deorbit things? It's more legit. It's a lot of work. All right. Oh, that's a pretty bad parking orbit. Let's see if I can change his inclination just a little bit here. The more he's in line with the equator, the easier it will be to sorry for the William Shatner speak right there. The easier it'll be to intercept and collect. Rendezvous. That's the word. No, that's pretty close. And now we go back to Kerbin and we send a ship up to grab him. We could deorbit him right here, but well, it would be bad. We wouldn't have Bob in the program anymore after that. Now, fortunately, I've built a ship that should be just fine for doing this. It's the rescue pod. There it is. Was there anything I wanted to change about this? No, I don't think so. I think it's fine. Was there anything wrong with this last time I used it? Did anybody see? I don't remember. I don't think so. I think it was okay. Oh, the staging was... That's what was wrong. There. Okay, fixed. And we'll wait for it to be in a slightly better location. Probably somewhere right around here. That's going to be another nighttime launch. As usual. Yeah, we'll try right about there. I think we might... Hey, it's still daytime. I think we might be launching just a little early, but I'm not sure. And anyway, it's pretty... I parked it high enough that it'll be pretty easy to adjust. I really like what they've done with the graphics. I first started playing this game one patch before they put the moon in. I don't remember what that patch number was. But it was just right after I got the game, they put in the moon. And one of the very first things that I did was land on the moon. And it took me weeks and weeks of messing around to land on the moon. Yeah, I think after we get this done, then we'll start building a low Kerbin orbit space station. I think that's the next logical step. Oh, yeah, I remember now. It didn't have any torque control. Oh, cool. I'm glad I forgot about that. That is a lie. I am not glad. Yeah, I think I started. I needed to wait longer to launch. But we'll go higher than the orbit and catch it on the return. Right there. Or I could do that and make it bad. That's not perfect. I'll make it work. No, we'll have to correct at that point. 8.58 was the closest we got. It's not even worth it. We'll have to correct at this point here. Just waiting. Start to burn. Right about there. We'll bring the relative speed down to 0. And then we'll switch to the Grasshopper and we'll finish the rendezvous with the Grasshopper because there's significantly more fuel on there. So let's go ahead and switch over to the SS Kelly Clarkson. Set the Rescue Pro or Rescue Pod as our target. And we will burn towards the pod. Bring this as close as we can here. So 6.5, 4. I'd like to bring it down to at least 0.2. 0.2, okay. And now to match speed, and I've waited a little too long for my burn here. That's fine. Still make it work. Should be pretty close. According to this, it's up there. Right there. We can get closer. Did I have a contract to get science from the surface of the moon? I don't think I have anything on the surface of the moon right now. I thought I had a contract to get science from the orbit of Kerbin. Guess not. All right, Bob. Get out. Grab your stuff. Where's Bob? Grab this science. What are you doing? Why can't Bob grab the science? Just give me an inventory. Well, that's weird. Let's try putting it back in. No, it's still doing it. Oh, really? Jeb, you go grab it. I don't know why it's not letting Bob grab it. It's not going to let Jeb grab it either. Huh. So we got all that science there. Weird. I don't know why I wouldn't let Bob do that. Good thing I sent Jeb. All right, Bob, your turn. And let's bid farewell to the SS Kelly Clarkson. Goodbye. Whew, that was close. Why does it still think it has 1,062 meters per second? I don't know. I think it is broken. All right, let's fling off these pods. For no reason at all, I just felt like it. Now let's just watch it burn up. Goodbye, SS Kelly Clarkson. We'll miss you. You did great. Now, the Clarkson actually managed to land without tipping over, so that does make it a better ship than the original Grasshopper. But it's still a Grasshopper, so I'm not terribly impressed. What happened here? Stretched out or something? Look, that's weird. Oh, yeah, it did stretch out. Time warp physics. And we're just about there. I don't think anything's going to survive. Nope. There go the pods. The fuel pods. Bye-bye. Recover? I don't think there's anything to recover. So now that the Kelly Clarkson has been graciously retired, let's go collect Bob and Jeb. All right. And that's why I had the Kelly Clarkson doing all of the maneuvering. I only had enough for a deorbit burn. And we'll go ahead and separate these. And come on home. World's first. What did we do? Return from a flyby of Minmus. Oh, because we brought the Kelly Clarkson back. I see. Okay. Cool. I was not expecting to get those. I thought we already had them, I guess. Now we just wait for this to deorbit. New landing biome? Possibly. Might hit the highlands. Problem is with this it's not a probe, this pod, you might end up rolling. That's part of the reason I wanted to leave all of this stuff on there. It adds more stopping points. And you're right. I can get soil samples now. Still don't know why Bob wasn't able to collect the data from the pod, though. That was really weird. That was weird. Guess it's just a bug. I think the rest of the rescue pod just landed. Hey, look, it's mountains and trees, so I can leave Jeb and Bob out here, and they can pretend they're in an episode of Dr. Quinn. We're hitting the crew report. Yay, all right. No, I better not. I was going to EVA him, but we're too close. And we are rolling. Yep, this is what I was afraid of. There's nothing I can do about this. And they're going very fast. This is dangerous. This is very dangerous. Stop moving. Oh, it's going to be ugly. I wonder if I can do anything about this. Come on, stop before you blow up. Oh, come on, you can stop. It's like a Weeble right now. They're drowning in vomit inside. Yeah, this is pretty bad. This is one of the reasons why I don't like this particular pod. Come on, you can stop. No. I'm very tempted to just EVA these guys and drop them off the pod. But I'm afraid they might die in the EVA. Crushed by the pod. Here, hit the tree and stop. Stop. It's never going to stop. This is exciting. Oh, and we're gaining speed. That's bad. As long as we stay under 10 meters per second, we're pretty safe. If we go over that, we're pretty not safe. Oh, no. This is getting bad. Oh, come on. There's not much I can do except watch. I don't dare speed it up either. Dude, time warp. The physics will kill him. It's slowing down. It's slowing down. It's slowing down. Come on, you could stop. You know how, right? Is it stopping? Oh. Come on, you can stop. No. No. Got it. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, that's what I was doing. Mash recover vessel. Yep. It worked. So the return or rescue probe or pod absolutely has to land in the water. I think that's what we learned here. Look at all that science, though. That is a lot. That is great. We'll be able to use that for sure. All right. Did we get credit for what was that? Oh, there was no contract for that. That was just something that I was doing. Oh, so yeah, if we work on the space station, we'll definitely get that dock 2 vessels in orbit of Kerbin. No, I don't want to do any of these. In my opinion, the rescue Kerbals missions contracts are very similar to the tourist contracts, and they get annoying, but they can be a cheap way to build up your Kerbinaut pool. Also, I need science data from the surface of the moon. I don't think I have anything on the moon. I do have something on the moon. Sweet. Does it have any science on it? Yes, it does. It's very dark. It's hard to see, but yeah, there's science here. No usable in-range comms. Okay, you just wait for the moon to turn a little bit. And no, 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 no. There. Don't tip over. And there we go. That contract is complete. Now let's go back to the Space Center and start working on a space station. And don't worry about names for the space stations. I always name my space stations. I have a theme, so that's one thing I got covered. And what did that open up? Any new? Hey, perfect. That's perfect timing for that. Okay, so to build a new station in orbit of Kerbin, it has to have an antenna, a docking port, generate power, must be fully. Oh, the station must be fully assembled when launched. We'll just build a core that we can expand off of. Must support 5 Kerbals. Must maintain stability. Put your station in orbit. Okay, that's pretty easy to do. Yeah, we'll build a station core here. Perfect. I'm very glad we got that contract. Okay, so the station core is going to be controlled by a probe, and it'll just have living space and basic utilities. We'll leave science and other things off, and those will be expansions. Okay, I can deal with that. So we'll start with a service bay, and this is going to be a fairly small station too, because I don't know why it does that. Look, it didn't used to do that. It's just a recent problem. So if I put that down first, then it works right. Okay. And stick on some electrics. And let's see. Do we want any fuel storage in the core? Probably not, but we're going to. Because we're going to stick... Oh, that's not even big enough. Needs to go one bigger. But is that ugly? I think that is ugly. I do not like that. I do not like that at all. So the thing about space stations is the function is only whatever you make of it. So it's all about aesthetics, really. You just want them to look cool. And I don't like the look of that. There we go. I don't mind that. And then we'll stick... No, I don't like that. I really just don't like that. Okay, so right there we've got our 5 Kerbal requirement met. You know, what else do we want to put on here? Of course, we need lights. It's got to look cool. Like I was saying, this is just the core. This is not going to be the whole station. Now, I want... That's what I want right there. And we'll stick this on here. Trust me on this one, okay? So that's gonna render that pretty much useless, but that's fine. No, I don't like that. No. It's just that this is so small. I don't have the... I have tons of science, though. So let's go see if I can research some points to make this, research some tech to make this a little better. Oh, that'll be nice. I'm going to grab that right now for the the mainsail. That mainsail is amazing. The larger fuel tanks is nice too. Those are fun. The Mark II fuselage pieces, those are fun to play with. I just like the look of them. We'll mess with that later. There. That's what I'm looking for. That service bay right there. That's what I want. Oh, a science lab. Best way to cheese science in the game right there. We'll take it. Nope, we'll take that too. A better relay. Stronger relay. And here we have this light strip. I really like the way it looks, but every time I use it, it causes my game to lag very badly. So I think there's something wrong with that part. It's not optimized correctly or something. But I'll take this just for the expandable solar panels and the bigger battery. And then I've got 306, so I can get one more thing. We'll take the bigger fuel tanks. Okay. And now let's go build a space station with these new parts. So this is all junk. This is junk. It's all junk. Better probe core. Bigger service bay. Open that up. Oh, that's huge. That's great. And it's not a lot of torque for something like this, but it'll do the job. And we'll throw in some electrics here. That's perfect. Throw those there. We'll throw in lots of electrics here. We've got the space, may as well. There we go. And now I can do what I was wanting to do, which is to take this structural fuselage and turn it into, what would you call those, pylons? And then our living quarters here and here. And then I do like to put fuel tanks on and store some fuel in the core, because that makes sure that if I ever dock incorrectly, everything will explode and everybody will be dead. But these aren't fitting correctly. See, I guess it's all right. I'll leave the fuel in it, but we'll probably drain it out during the launch, just because it does make it so heavy. And then on these, we're going to stick... Well, that's right. These are too small, so I'll have to put some other pieces there. These guys. And this is something we'll be able to upgrade as we go with this new... is it the Breaking Ground expansion? The one that lets you... No, it's not Breaking Ground. Which one is... Which one was it that lets you build things in on site? Whatever that one was, that's the one that will allow us to upgrade all of this in the future. Now this is pretty basic, but the station is really, it's calling for something pretty basic. Well, I think I got my spacing off a little bit here. Yeah, this one comes down a bit. This one comes down a bit. How does that look? Is that symmetrical enough for everybody? Is there a bidet? Yeah, there is actually, for sure. It's right out here. You just stick your little tushy out there and it'll dry you up real quick. But a bidet does not dry you, does it? A bidet does the opposite of drying you. Never mind. Okay. Do I have action groups yet? I don't think I do. No, I don't think I do. Oh, maybe I do. Well, that's plenty of stuff. Toggle, 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 toggle. All of these are going to be toggle. That just means when I push 1 on my keyboard, these will expand or collapse. It'll save me from needing to click each and every one of them. Okay, I think that's done it. Yep, it's pretty ugly, but there it is. Let's throw a couple of solar panels on up here just to make sure that we're always generating electricity, even when the others are retracted. Okay, there's that. And do we want to put anything else on here? Yeah, we got to have blinking lights. What's a space station without blinking lights on it? Now this is the bottom because I say so, and that is red. And this is the top, again because I say so, and that is going to be green. Oops, I probably want that. Probably can't grab that. There, no. Well, now that might be a problem. I can't grab the cord to raise up the station. Okay, I'll pull these off. Oh, because the core is there. That would be why. And the batteries are blocking it. Okay. Just get rid of those batteries and I'll try to remember to put them back. He's got the core. It needs antenna. And yeah, that's all it needs. That's all we're missing here is an antenna. And I want to put those new relays on. Put on. Now they do stack, so the more of them you have, the greater range they have. So there we go. We'll put on 8 of those. See, because it's combinable. Oh, come on. I gotta. Yeah. And now we just need to build. You know what? I would like to have just a little bit of monoprop storage on here too. Just a little bit. Maybe I'll stick that on out here. Yeah. There we go. No, I don't like that. I guess it's fine without any. We'll have plenty of room for monoprop storage elsewhere. Well, no. I was thinking about putting some of these little tanks on, but bigger tanks are better. Just because there's less hassle. Grabbed the wrong one. Yeah, all right. We'll stick the monoprop there. And now we just need to build a launch vessel for this, a launch vehicle. And it's going to have to be pretty big. Build 2 stages. The first stage I'm building is going to be the transfer stage. Or not transfer, but the second stage. So it'll be the extra atmosphere stage. Just meaning it's outside of the atmosphere. And I'm going to give it a probe core so that it can deorbit itself. Which means there will be 2 probe cores on this launch, but that's fine. This one doesn't need too much. Just keep it very minimal. This is going to be our most expensive launch, for sure. And we'll throw some struts in here to make sure that's a little more stable. Okay, and we'll put down not the biggest fuel tank, because I'm assuming at this point that we're already outside of the atmosphere by the time we're using this. Okay, and now the launch and ascent stage. There we go. And this one has to be pretty big because it has to push all of that up. And we'll leave crossfeed on because I do want to burn that fuel. Okay. 2 of those should be good. Put on... Oh, we've got them, the twin bore. Yep, we'll use that. It's a very strong engine. And I'm definitely going to need at least 2 more boosters. Possibly more. We'll try. Like I said before, I'm not a mathematician, so some of this is just trial and error. If it works, good. If not, we'll come back and add more boosters. Do I have? I do. I don't need to do this. Just plonk that on there. It's expensive. Told you it was going to be, though. Okay. A little bit of aerodynamic stability here in the form of these fins. Yep, just like so. And then let's make sure we're pulling fuel correctly. No, not like that. What are you doing? Like that. Outside boosters will feed the central booster Then they'll be jettisoned when they're empty, and it'll just reduce the amount of dry mass we're carrying around. And I believe that this is what we need to get to orbit. Should we put a protective shell over this? We could. I don't think it'll let us go big enough. It won't. Nope. Oh well. So that's it. We'll have to launch like this. And I want to launch with no Kerbals on board. Perfect. Okay. That's our station core. Let's get it in orbit. Let's check our staging. Okay. I think the only thing we need to change is that. Those don't need to jettison on launch. Okay. Let's give it a try. Station core. Here we go. Attempt number 1. Get this into a stable orbit. Okay. Here we go. Oh, and it's wobbling pretty bad. Okay. Let's add a little bit more struts. That wobble's going to kill us. So what I'll do tonight is certainly launch this core, and then I want to get a return vehicle attached to it. So I'll make probably do a second mission with the science hub, expanded electrics, and a return vehicle. And then that'll probably be the night. So we'll get this up. I have fairings, yes, but they're too small. I don't have the biggest fairings yet. So I can't encapsulate this. I just tried. I'm glad you were paying attention. Okay. Number 1. First try. Let's go. Now hopefully those new struts will help to stabilize this. Yeah, look, it's a lot better. It's still going to be a little floppy, but it's better. Now if I can just prevent from over thrusting early on, it'll help. But I still need to be gaining speed here. Yeah, the problem with big stuff like this is you do end up with floppiness. But we should be okay. Look, I got my blinking lights on. Ha 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 ha. Blinking lights are the pinnacle of space technology. That's the whole reason why we go to space, is to put blinking lights in cool places. I'm trying to keep my throttle relatively low to help with this gyration. Otherwise this thing will shake itself apart. Part of it is we've just got a lot of connections up here, and part of it is it's heavy. I've got that fuel up here too. Slow-mo launch, yeah, it kind of is, but we should get there. It should be fine. And I am gonna burn pretty much straight up until the boosters drop off, and then I'll start my turn. I want to make sure I'm clear of the thickest part of the atmosphere before I try to turn. I do not want to flip this out. Okay, let's go ahead and start our turn. We're pretty high up now. And I am going to go for a pretty high orbit around Kerbin. Probably, I mean, you can put your station in a 70-kilometer orbit, but I think I'm going to shoot for maybe 100 or 150, just for the sake of making rendezvous easier. I might even go 200. Yeah, let's go 200, just for the sake of easier rendezvous. The higher up you are, the easier it is because you can launch your intercept vessels into a very low orbit, 70,000 or 75 or whatever you have, and it gives you lots of wiggle room to transfer to the station. You don't need to be quite as precise as if you had the station right at the lowest possible orbit. So yeah, I think we'll go for a 200 kilometer orbit. We'll get up to about 80,000, and then I will shut off the engines, coast to apoapsis, and once we're at that point, we'll circularize this orbit, and we actually have plenty of extra fuel here. That's good, but we might end up with some more space junk. Look at those blinking lights. Those are some of the newest parts too. That's why I'm so obsessed with them. There's a lot of stuff now that's in the stock game that you used to only be able to get in mods, and I'm thrilled. I'm absolutely thrilled because modding was always such a headache. What I would do is make a completely separate game file for mods and then just never update it. But then there was all the new stuff being released into the game that you never got to see. So I absolutely love that the creators here have looked at what the players want in those mods and started to add it into the base game. But really, I'm only playing this because they've delayed KSP2. That's what I want to be playing. I can't wait. I have no choice but to wait, so I guess I can wait, but I would rather not wait. Squad. Or it's not Squad, is it? It's, what is it, Division? Something Second Division? What's the name of the company that's doing it now? Oh, that gyration is killing me. I can't overthrust. Once we drop this first stage, no, it's not Roblox. Roblox is not developing KSP2, and if it did, I would not play it. Though I guess Roblox is an extremely fiscally successful endeavor, I have no interest. There. Now that should reduce our gyration significantly. Yeah. And now, are we draining this fuel? Yes, we are. That's good. So my thought is I'll use these extensions here as ship docks and the ones on the ends as expansion ports for new station parts. So my return vessels will dock on these. Oh, I didn't put any other lights on? That's right, those were on the other station. Well, dang. Remind me when I start the expansion the science and electrics expansion that I want to put lights on there. Now we're just going to burn until our apoapsis is 200,000. This is fairly high, but like I said, that's going to make it easy. And it's not a big deal because most of the ships that I'm going to be sending here are going to be either going to or returning from the moon or Minmus. So it's not a huge deal. And having it higher up like that will just make it easier. For me. Maybe your playstyle, it's easier for you to have it lower, but for me, it's easier to have it higher. And I think I'm going to destroy the grasshopper too. I'm tired of seeing it there. Should I destroy the original grasshopper tonight, or should I leave it? It is still a perfectly functional ship. But then again, so was the Kelly Clarkson. Deorbital collision. Try to hit it with something else? That's really... No, I'll just deorbit it. Is that what you're asking me to do? To try to hit it with something else to deorbit it? A missile? A missile. I've never really tried that. Yeah, it's not quite perfectly circular, but it'll do for our purposes. And we have completed that contract. I'll leave the fuel tank on here for now, because it still has plenty of usable fuel in it. Transfer what I can over to the core and see what we are left with. Yeah, there's still going to be tons of fuel on here. I don't think that the collision will deorbit it either. I just think all that's going to do is break it into smaller pieces and cause problems. Just, it's kind of what I think is going to happen. All right, we've pushed all the fuel we can into the core. We'll leave this up here and attached. We'll shut the engine off for now. And as we send more ships up, we'll refuel them off of this. And once this is nearly empty, then we'll deorbit it. So there's our space station in orbit. Can I access the probe core to change the name? No. No. That is the probe core. All right. Rename the vessel. This is a station, and we're going to call it Ripley Hub. And I am not going to listen to any arguments about that. That's what it is called. Excuse me, I got a cough. All right. So that's done. Let's extend everything. There we go. Everything is now extended. And no, everything is not extended. Why are you not extended? because apparently I just forgot to. Oh well. No, it's not Moss Cankles. It's Ripley Hub. Okay. Let's go back and design our Science Hub, Electrics expansion, and return vessel. And that's all going to be one launch. I'm not going to send up any scientists yet. I'll send up Kerbals in a future mission. Tonight, I just want to build this structure. Okay. New. And we'll call this the station expansion. And what should we start with? We'll start with the Science Hub, which is the processing lab. So there's the processing lab, and we want to get all these different science bits tucked away nearby. So we'll stick one of these. Throw in that. Chuck in a couple of those. Stick on a couple of those. A couple of these guys, and there we go. Okay, it would have been nice if that was the thermometer was facing the right direction. Except now on that side. So let's stick this on the ceiling. And we'll stick these there like that. Can I click? Frustrating. There. And remember, I wanted lights, so let's put some lights inside the bay. Then a Kerbin could theoretically stand in there, I think. I think it's big enough. Let's close that. And I guess technically there's your science expansion right there. It doesn't need to be anything more than that. So we will build a connector here. Right there. Maybe I'll put the electrics just right on here too. Just all one unit. Yeah. And I'm only saying that because we do need the electrics expansion. The science lab will eat up a lot of electricity. A lot. All right. There's our electric expansion. Just a bunch of batteries. That's all it is. That's all it needs to be. A couple of solar panels. I'm debating putting a viewing cupola on there. course, the problem with that is it then terminates one end of the station, limiting your ability for expansion. But my thought is, how much more expansion are we going to have after this? And I think it's not going to be much. Maybe some fuel tanks, and we can hang those off the other end. So I think this will be fine. The only thing I might do is add some more room for ship docking. Yeah, I think I will do that. But I can do that right here. And we'll just make it'll just be the same as the core. We'll just use these fuselage pieces. Just like that. And a couple of docking ports. There we go. I guess I can't miss the opportunity to put on... We get rid of these solar panels and we just stick more solar panels on there. How can I miss the opportunity to do that? Doesn't need to be as many though, but it will be anyway. It needs more wobble. Just wait until it launches. I'm sure it'll wobble. I am sure it will wobble. And then I imagine that whatever they're doing in there is going to create some heat. So let's give them... Check this out. Bang. That's huge. That's huge. I can't use that. That's huge. We'll have to go with the small ones again. Just trying to line them up so they're somewhat symmetrical. May or may not be. It's going to block the door. We'll just go with 2. And we can put these on Action Group 1 as well, because that'll just make them the same as the pre-existing ones. And toggle, toggle, toggle. Everything's toggle. And let's see if I can miss one like I did last time, so there's just one that doesn't open and close. There we go. All right, now let's finish this off. It needs to be able to connect to the station. And we'll do that with this. And this. And this. And now I'm going to put in, let's put in the return vessel here. And this is going to be fairly small. We'll have it big enough to bring two Kerbals back. And they'll need parachutes. We'll put in drogue chutes. And we'll put on parachutes. And we'll give them a heat shield, because we value their lives. Put on a decoupler, and they just need a small engine. So they only need a small fuel tank. Doesn't need to be too big. That's perfect. And then just a small engine. And there we go. That is our return pod. All right, and now we have to, let's see. We need to, you know, it needs just a touch of RCS, I think, in order to push itself away from the station. Yeah, we'll give it 4 RCS blocks, and it does not need much, so we'll give it 2 small RCS tanks. That's only 1. There we go. That's 2. We'll put those there. And it's got no electricity or anything. What does it have for electric charge? 200? That's plenty. We might just put a small solar panel on it. 1. Is that even necessary? I don't think that's even necessary. We'll stick this on though. Not because we need it, but just because it's cool. That's an antenna. See, check it out. Ho 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 ho. Nah, we don't need that. That just costs money. And let's see. After that, what we need. Okay, now that will act like a decoupler, but it's a docking port. Once we deactivate it, then that'll be a dead-end node, but it has a docking port up front. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is build a small little tug that will pull all of this apart and assemble it at the station. And that's going to need a probe core, RCS, and SAS. And so I want to keep it fairly minimal, but it needs to have, it needs to be big enough to push and pull all of this around. So let's put, there it is. We'll put that. It's going to be a little bit bigger. Let's see, 750 monoprop, that's plenty. And we need SAS in there. And we need a probe core in there. And it does need to have its own electrics because it will be autonomous. There we go. And it does need radio. There we go. And it should probably have a couple of little... Yes, a lot of tugging happens in space. Space tugging for the win. Yeah. A couple of solar panels here. Put those right there. There's only one. I said a couple. Okay. RCS blocks. There. And there. And then that is our space tug. It's like a little tugboat in space. And what that'll do is it'll be able to attach to these nodes here and pull and push these around to correctly assemble the station the way we want it. All right. And now we need our launch vehicle, which will be pretty much identical to the last one. I should have just saved it as a subset, and then I could have easily used it. Okay. I'm not going to put a probe core on this one, though. Yeah, I suppose I should, so it can deorbit. Less space junk. The odds of actually colliding with any of your space junk is pretty low, but it is there, it does exist. And the space engine, which is just a vacuum engine. It's optimized for thrust in vacuum. And then we need the ascent stage. So I need decouplers for this. Nope. Nope. Is that? Nope. That's not it. Come on, it's... Oh, there it is. Okay. Will this... That depends on how I drive it, okay? That's entirely up to me at the time. All right. Let's put on the twin bore again. We'll just... It's going to be pretty much the exact same setup as the station core. That worked very well. This is getting very expensive. And we'll just go with that same setup. It works, so we'll use it. And I need to... The last one had a lot of wobble, so I'm going to put more struts on right away and see if we can prevent that this time. But it'll be the same. We'll have to thrust slowly in order to prevent rapid unplanned disassembly. Is that too far? It doesn't want to click there. All right, it's kind of tall. It's gonna be kind of floppy, but it should be lighter than the previous one. It doesn't have any fuel up there except for the little escape pod. I'm nervous about it though. It's pretty floppy. Maybe. No, I don't really have anything to make it better. All right, give it a try. Worst thing that happens is it doesn't work at all and we have to try something different. I could always break this up into multiple launches. I'm trying to be lazy here. I mean efficient. I'm trying to be efficient here. Oh, I need to put in those fuel lines. Without these outer fuel tanks, yep, you're right. For aerodynamic stability, I should put on these delta winglets. There we go. Okay, I would like more struts up here, but it's just not happening. I wonder, what if I just stick some of these on? Will that work? No. I guess we just give it a try. I need lights. I didn't put lights. I wanted lights. You didn't remind me about the lights. All right. A little bit. I'll use this to kind of light up the part of the station that I forgot to put lights on. Oh, you did. You did remind me about the lights. Sorry. I said I was sorry. Okay. Should I put blinking lights on this side? I think I need blinking lights. These little navigation lights, they blink. I need them. They're important. I'll put them on the escape pod. They will be green. Okay. Well, that's about it. It'll either work or it won't. Let's give it a try. What's that? Okay. Yeah, launch this death machine. Absolutely. Nobody's on board, so if it doesn't work, oh well. I am kind of nervous about it. It's very tall. I think I'm launching this one pretty much straight up as well. Well, it doesn't look so bad out here. All right, here we go. Wish me luck. Goodbye. Now look, that wobble's there already. Oh, that wobble. Oh, that wobble. Oh, it's bad. But it might be doable. As long as I keep my thrust low. Look, it's just rocking us around like crazy here. Turn the lights on. At least they're working correctly. Well, the idea was that the uneven load would settle due to the gyration. It's not flipping us. It is flipping us. It is flipping us. It flipped us. Okay, we ride the flip. Just ride it out. Come on, come on. There we go, there we go. No, no, no. Okay, no, it's not going to work. I have to firm that up somehow. Oh, it bent almost completely in half. And the weak point was right here. So one thing I can do right away is just more struts. But I still think that's insufficient. I'm still kind of working with an idea here. If I attach these here, like that, push them in like that. Yeah, this is kind of goofy, but it might just save us. And then I can strut from here to here. No, I don't want to put the strut on there. Well, this will break away as soon as I stage it. So this is not necessarily a permanent thing. Let's put that. No, don't attach to the solar panel. That's definitely not a structural piece. There. And throw a second one there. And then add some struts right there. That, I think that'll do it. It maybe isn't very pretty, but I think that'll do it. Let's find out. What's the worst that happens? It explodes and kills everybody at the Kerbal Space Center, crashing into the control tower. Okay, let's see if this is more stable. Mid fins? No, I wouldn't want to add mid fins. You want to keep your drag as far to the bottom of the rocket as possible. You increase the odds of flip out when you put it higher, and we already saw this one has a proclivity to flip. All right. It was all about stability. It's just too flimsy here. So adding these struts should firm it quite a bit. All right. Let's give it a shot. Here we go. So you can see right away there's way less gyration. Yeah, I think that's done it. I think that's done it. Yeah, check that out. It's definitely an aerodynamic vessel. Oh, about flip. Maybe I should turn SAS on, huh? That would probably help. Oh, now the gyration is back. I'm going to save this, though. This time it will work. All right. Oh, come on. No, don't flip. And it's flipping. Nothing I can do about that. And we're back. Fortunately, this thing has some extra Delta V on it, I hope. And it's just flipping out like crazy. Well, this is not good. All that extra Delta V is disappearing here pretty quick. But this is my fault. This is, I made an error. There we go. I'm going to have to relaunch this. Not having that SAS on put us into a bad position, and then I had to try to correct and overcorrect it and caused the flip. SAS is on. Let's go. I think this will work. I think I just have to be more careful about how I'm flying it. Yeah, I think if I just maintain a lower thrust and try to maintain a more straight up and down launch profile until I get up to maybe 20 or 25,000 meters, we should be all right. I'll turn some lights on so you can see. Just keep the thrust a little bit lower to keep the wobble more under control. And because the problem is it's wobbling, so as it comes off of center from our thrust, it's creating drag, which is pulling the whole thing and causing the flip. So if I can just keep it more in a straight line, we'll be all right. And we're already at almost 10,000. So I think we're okay. I just might have to go with a somewhat... I'm already in an inefficient launch profile, but we'll make it work. Okay. And I'm not turning yet on purpose. I want to get this up pretty high before I turn. I think I'll wait even a little longer. Okay, now I'm going to start a very gradual turn. And I did launch this with no consideration at all about the position of the station, which I probably could have done to make for a more convenient rendezvous, but honestly, I had no idea what this launch profile was going to look like, so I didn't worry about it, and I'll just generate a rendezvous from wherever we end up in orbit. If you hear any background noise here, it's raining pretty heavily where I am right now, so don't mind any background noise. It's just rain. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. This is gonna work. Cut it off at about 80,000 meters, and coast and then circularize from there. Okay, and we can go ahead and set it as our target. Yeah, we're probably going to want to orient ourselves here. We're going to get to that apoapsis pretty quickly. I'm just going to keep... I don't think it's safe to coast. I'm not sure if we have the thrust to weight ratio to make that work. Especially once we get rid of this twin bore engine. But I still can't go full thrust because the wobble is awful. As soon as we drop this first stage, it'll be much better. There we go. We're free from the first stage. Now we just need to circularize, generate a rendezvous, and then use the tug to build the station. The wobble should be nearly non-existent now. Yeah. That's looking pretty good. If the stream starts having any stuttering or frame rate issues, again, it's storming here, so I apologize. There's not much I can do about it. If it gets too bad, let me know. I'll wrap it up and finish later when the stream's better. And it doesn't need to be perfectly circular, but the closer it is, the easier it is to generate maneuver nodes. So we're at 87 and 83. That's pretty close. I can work with that. The descending node, we're off slightly. I want to correct that. That's the ascending node there. So that's not what it's called, is it? I don't know. Just bring this down to at least 0.1, 0.2, something like that. It'll get us a lot closer when we rendezvous. Can I get 0, 0? Nah, not worth it. And now we'll plan our transfer and rendezvous. And as you can see, we're quite far. Yeah, this is going to be several orbits before we line up well enough. Yeah, I know I can just add orbits onto the maneuver planner, but I have to warp through this anyway, so I may as well. And I enjoy spinning the dial around. I don't know why. All right, what's our separation? 12.6. 9.4. 4.1. Just a little closer. 0.7. Awesome. That's only an 82 meter per second burn, which means we'll have plenty of fuel left over to match speed and actually perform our rendezvous. Okay. 27 minutes. Look, it's T-pose. And just warping around. It's pretty important that I get this burn on time. I'm usually a little bit late. This one I need to actually do at the correct time. So I'll finish putting the station together tonight, and then next time I'll bring Kerbals up and put them on board. All right, we'll get it on the second intersect there. Bring them into a close orbit with each other, and then we can start disassembling this rocket and adding the modules onto the station. And I want to get a little bit closer, just because they're not in an identical orbit, so there will be drift over time. And it's going to take a little bit of time to pull these pieces off, take them over and reattach them, come back and do it again. And in light of that, the closer they are together, the more similar their orbits will be, the less drift we'll experience. It'll just make it easier. And we've still got plenty of fuel left over here. Let's get really close. The closer, the better. About 150, maybe 100 meters separation. And once we get that established and we are at a zero relative speed difference, we'll start disassembling the rocket and moving the modules over. Yeah, I think that's pretty close. And just because I'm uncomfortable with my own abilities, we'll retract all of these very delicate panels, and we can always bring those back out later. Now, the first thing we're going to stick on is what? So as we pull this apart, we've got an engine module here. We've got the tug here, we've got the escape pod here, and we've got the science pod here. So the first one we can bring over is probably the engine, and it'll have to transfer itself. Okay. Let's point it away so the magnets don't attract. And where are we going to stick that? We'll stick that right here. So set that as the target. And this is kind of a challenge to get that pointed in the right direction here. But it will happen, don't worry. It will eventually happen. Just if I point them at each other, then I don't have to do a whole lot of translating around, and it makes it so much easier. Especially with that engine pod, it doesn't have any RCS on it or anything. All I've got is the engine, so I have to burn directly at at this node here, which is not a problem. All right, the alignment looks pretty good. Now let's go back to the engine pod here. And we want to target that. And I might bump the, no, the tug's out of the way. So now we just need to do a direct burn straight at it. Oh, I have to shut down the engine. I don't want to go too fast. 0.8 is pretty fast for a docking. I might slow down. Yeah, we'll get closer. I'll slow down a little bit. Realign. No, I want to burn this way. And we'll bring it just a little bit back. There. Right there. And coast. The reason I'm not using the tug for this is because there's just nowhere for it to connect. Experiencing a little bit of drift. I can correct for that, but it's going to give us speed. That's the problem here. Now I can always decelerate, but we're on a pretty good path here. I think as long as I keep it under 1 meter per second, we should be okay. We shouldn't smash everything up. Make sure this is still pointing in the right direction, which it wasn't. There. Okay. Still drifting just a little bit. Okay. Getting close. Now, normally I won't dock it above 0.2 meters per second, but we'll make a special exception here. And the only reason I'm docking this is because it's still got a whole bunch of fuel on it. And I would like to preserve that. Pretty fast. But it worked and it didn't break everything. Okay, so what's the second one we'll bring over? The second one is the escape pod. And that will go exactly opposite of the fuel pod. We just spin this around. Chunk that on there. Eventually. This thing's kind of awkward to steer. Oh, I got some money. Now, I'm going to be using the tug to transfer these other things, so I really don't need to move the station like this. I could just translate around, but that's actually a lot more complicated than it sounds. It can get very dicey. This just allows for a direct approach, which is so much easier. And how much? Yeah, I don't really want to use that RCS, so we'll take... And I don't want to be burning up a whole bunch of fuel. Where did this station go? There it is. I want to target that. And there we go. Now I just need to move over there. And because I have RCS on here, it's pretty easy to compensate for the drift. So I can be a little more crazy in my transfer over. Are we still... Oh, we may not be aligned at all. I better check that out. Let's see, control from here. And we want to target that. And it's a good thing I checked. We were not aligned. I think I was still aimed at the other one, which is drifting away now, but that's all right. We'll go back and get it. All right. We didn't put any lights on this. And we're in the dark side. I don't know if you guys can see anything at all. It always seems to be the way it goes. But here we go. I hope you can see this approach. It's kind of nice with the red lights there. Okay, you can see it. That's good. Slow down. Keep this very gentle. And there we go. Now the space station has an escape pod. And now we're going to return and grab the science module. Where is it? I need to target it. It should be right there. Yeah. Okay. Does this have any control on it? It does not. So I will have to actually translate around to grab a hold of this. Which is fine. You'll at least get to see what that looks like, I guess. And I'll have to practice a skill I don't usually practice. Forgive me if I'm a little quiet. I'm trying to concentrate here. I don't I don't have to do this too often. I want to target that. Don't crash. See, this is what I'm talking about when I say it gets to be dicey. I've completely missed it. All right, let's reset to 0 here. And let's assess the situation. Okay. So I believe if I burn this way, get over the top of it. A little more. And there, that should be good. Disable the RCS. I just want to turn. I don't want to move. And then re-enable the RCS. Yeah, it's still coming in a little crooked, but the magnets will fix it. So if you come in with a not quite perfect alignment, you just shut off your RCS and your SAS, and the magnets will pull you. Like so. Okay. And we'll move this a little closer, and then we're going to have to switch it up to make it correct. So this is going to dock here. All right, where is it? There it is. Yeah, I'm going to tug that module, and I'm going to tug it sideways eventually. So the what you might have noticed is with that couple of module on the end, I can't. The tug module is actually in the way of the connection. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it close, and then I'm going to pull the tug off of the end and stick it on the side and try to dock this node to that station while hanging off of the side here. I think it's going to be difficult. But for now, we're just going to close the gap. Just get them close. And once this is on, the station should be, for now, complete. Eventually, we'll upgrade the docking ports and everything, and we'll use engineers to do that. I'd like to maintain the station and just upgrade it as our technology improves, uh, just because we can now. And I've never done that. It's always been okay, you got better science, you got better tech. Eventually, you just trash the old station and build a new one with the new stuff. But with the last update, you don't need to do that anymore. Now you can just upgrade your station. All right, we're getting there. Just want to get this a little closer. Get it to about 50 meters or so, and then we'll flip it, move the tug to one of the arms, and then try to dock it that way. It's going to be awkward. It's going to be awkward, so have some patience with me. Uh, I think I can do it. We'll stop at about 50 meters. Yeah, the observation cupola is really quite nice. In fact, a lot of times when you get the contract to build a station, they want one on there. All right, rotate this. No, what are you doing? Like that, right there. Okay. And now here's the tricky part. Does this have SAS? It does not, so I cannot bump it or it will spin off. And that will be very bad. You know what? Let's do this. Ha ha ha. Okay. And we'll set this as our target. Okay, my hand was off center, so I was pushing the wrong buttons. Oops, not off to a good start. And control from here. Yes, that would explain why we're going backwards. I should have let it drift just a little further, but this will work. Okay, we are now connected. And now I will control it from here. And I will set this as our target. And I'm using very strange keys to do this because of the orientation of my control pod. Forgive me if I'm making weird faces. This is a little bit of a challenge. It's all lopsided. And the controls, I'm using the translation controls for forward and backward motion, which is very unusual. But it looks like we're doing it. This needs a slight reorientation. And you see I've got it offset at a 90-degree angle from the others, just so it's, I don't know, adds a little bit more flavor to it, that's all. No reason, other than I like the way it looks. So what I'll probably end up using this station for is refueling purposes mostly. I mean, that's really about all they're good for. I've got a science pod on here, so I can use it for research. Let's fix this. Didn't realize it unset my target, and now we're not quite lined up. That could have been bad. Okay, we're close. We're very close. How's our alignment? Not good. There. And there we go. That's the station built. And let's put out all of our... Yeah, these I'll have to do manually. So you see I've got some wobble there. That's because there's multiple SAS modules and they're conflicting with each other. So you just disable the SAS, do a small time warp, and it'll stop that. So there we go. There's Ripley Hub, effectively complete for now. So that's going to be it for today. Next time we'll bring some Kerbals up. We'll start doing some science. And I don't know. Maybe we'll try to get a station in orbit of the moon. Yeah, modules have officially been tugged. So I think the game plan moving forward, we'll build an orbital station around the moon, and we'll use that as a platform to build the ground station. And then we'll repeat the same process for Minmus. And let's actually take a look at something before, because we're getting to the point now where our technology is good enough to start doing some missions outside of Kerbin's influence. Well, let's see what we have coming up here. So first thing, we do need more satellites here. Our coverage is almost 0. So Eve is, it's very close to a transfer window for Eve. Or no, wait. Eve needs to be behind us, Duna ahead of us. So we don't really have a transfer window for either of those right now. And I don't know what the transfer windows for the other planets look like just offhand. So for now, we'll focus on the moon and Minmus. And we'll just keep an eye on transfer windows and try to get some probes out to the other planets when we can. But yeah, I think that's successful. Accomplished our goals for tonight. Let's see, what did we do? Recap. We brought Bob back from Minmus, rescued all of his science. We deorbited the what was the name of that ship? The SS Kelly Clarkson. That's right. There's the station. Oh, while we're here, we can transfer the fuel. If we can get rid of one of these engines, that'd be fine. We do have the Grasshopper. We could watch that burn up and crash real quick before we call it a night if you want. You want to see the Grasshopper burn up and crash? Yes, no. Save it for next time. No, I'm not doing that. It's not going to deorbit it. It's just going to blow it into pieces and make more orbital debris. I'm telling you, that's what's going to happen. Okay. Well, there's still some fuel on here, but that's still quite a bit, actually. Well, we'll sacrifice it. I need to open up the... No, I've got another nod node module here we can dock to, so I guess it can stay for now. So there you go, Ripley Hub. It's in orbit, but it's not staffed yet. All right. Well, that does it for me. I want to thank you guys for joining me tonight, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope to see you again next time.